Hello everyone, welcome back to the Scrap and Stamp YouTube channel. It's Jess here, and today I'm sharing a really fun, simple emboss resist technique with some Oxide inks. And I've tried, I don't know, I'm going to get your opinion to see if you guys like it. So once I was finished, I went over the little flowers with my sparkle pen here. And I kind of like the effect because it kind of makes it a little bit, it gives you that like watercolor effect. So when we make our card today, we could either do it or we won't do it. We'll decide. I kind of like the effect, but it just depends on I guess, different taste. Okay, so we have that here. And then we're going to be using MFT's Freshly Picked Bouquet, which the link is right here in case you're interested, because Mother's Day is just around the corner. So it's almost time to start thinking about Mother's Day cards. Or if you're me, you know, the day before Mother's Day. Even though I have like 4 cards to make. Glenda says, love the effect. Okay, perfect. So we'll probably end up doing that. Jan says, pretty, thank you. Teresa says, looks beautiful. Hello, Teresa. We couldn't have done Scrap Fest without you. You're amazing. I hope you are crafting with some new goodies and you're having so much fun. Awesome. So we didn't miss anything. Okay. And then, so we're going to basically start off with adding the emboss resist. Embossing the resist. So I'm going to get some embossing powder, and I just realized I need to grab some copy paper. Oh, it's conveniently located beside me, which is awesome. And I have a stamping block somewhere. It's kind of like I came in here, oh, there it is. Moved everything aside and didn't realize, oh, you might need those when you're doing the demo, you might need them. Okay. How's everybody doing? How's your weekend? Teresa says, thanks, Jess, had a blast with you, and Ray. We had a blast with you. You were amazing. That is one fun thing where I love seeing everybody online, and it's so great, but it's also good to see people in person because it just shows you, and it just, again, how awesome this crafting community is. I love that you guys come and watch our lives and you support us and you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and it's so good because we want to create a community. You know, we want to try to have things in one spot for everybody to go do their one-stop shopping and not have to worry about cross-border duties, fees, and we just want to have fun. So it's so good that we had a little taste of in person, which was so good. So I'm going to, off camera, I took a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock and I die cut it with my stitched rectangle because I can't get enough of the stitch details. Allison says, are you actually coming to Edmonton, Jess? I am, yes. I am. I was like, am I coming? I am, and I'm excited. I haven't been to Edmonton in probably, I want to say 15 years maybe, because I worked out in Lake Louise in my early 20s, like I was like 19, and then we did a day trip to Edmonton one day, which is funny. That's why when I was asking Allison where she was, I was like, is that near Edmonton? And I was like, oh no, you're not anywhere near. And I should know that because I was out there. So I've been to Calgary, Edmonton, Banff, Lake Louise, but not quite BC yet. Working on it. Okay, so I have a stamping block here. And I'm going to take the flower stamp here. And then I'm going to put it on the stamping block. You could also use your MISTI if you have it. But because I wanted the image to kind of be off the paper, I decided the stamping block would be the best way to do it. And I'm just going to kind of make sure that I could kind of duplicate the effect that I did earlier. Jan says, I'd love to come and see you in Edmonton. I could visit my son and his family. Oh my goodness, that's so true. Yes, here, let me get the link to the, because it's a Creative Scrapbooker event. Creative Scrapbooker magazine event. That's like a tongue twister. Let me grab it. That would help, wouldn't it? So you can see all the information. I'm so still catching up on everything here. My hubby is also an MVP of making Scrap Fest happen because he held down the fort here, and he's amazing. So let me grab this here. So it's called the Great Canadian Scrapbook Carnival, and the theme is groovy 60s. So I think I'm gonna have to make some tie-dye t-shirts or figure out how to get tie-dye t-shirts. And it's Edmonton, May 27th and 28th. That was correct on that. Gold star for me. Don't want to give anybody wrong information. Here's the link here, so if you want more information. I forgot, Jen, I totally forgot your son is out there. Okay, so I'm going to start by treating the A2 card front with my anti-static powder tool. And if you're just joining, we are just rounding out our Embossing Magic inspiration hop with one last technique you can use with embossing powders, which is the resist technique. So I think I made this card front in, you know, less than 10 minutes. So if you're kind of going somewhere and you're like, oh no, I need a card, what can I do? This is a really easy thing to do that where you don't have to worry about coloring anything, or like you just gotta basically stamp it, emboss it, blend it, and then, you know, you'll see how we finish off the sentiment. I'm going to use my trusted Pink Fresh Studios gold foil sentiment embossing, not embossing, ephemera pack, which is awesome. Just notice this is here. I'm just going to take that out, and then we're just going to ink up our stamp. And then we're going to just stamp this like that, and I just kind of want it off to the side. Just make sure I give some even pressure, and then carefully lift it up, and then ink it up again. It's very weird using using a stamping block over my Misty, but just wanted them to hang off the edges, and it wouldn't work so well on the mini, on the little one that I have handy. And then I'm just going to kind of offset that and stamp it, and then carefully lift it up, and there we go. You might not be able to see all of it on camera, but I'm hoping if I did this correctly, you will see it in a second. So I'm going to grab some copy paper and some embossing powder. And then we're just going to, has anybody here tried the Emboss Resist? It's a really simple technique, and it's a technique I don't always think of firsthand, but it's so much fun to do. And it also works well if you're doing watercoloring and you want kind of a ridge to kind of help you keep colors in place. So you could emboss with, you can stamp the image with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and then you can add some clear embossing powder because that ink doesn't dry as quickly, so it allows you that little bit of extra time to add some clear embossing powder, and then you just heat set it, and then you get those nice little ridges so that you keep all the colors where you want them. And then there's this one, which is so fun because it's going to allow you to add a background color, and it's going to keep the lovely stamped image. So with that done, I'm going to take my brush, which should be somewhere, here it is, my trusty little brush that I have on hand, and just kind of wipe away any extra embossing pieces. And with this technique, it doesn't have to be perfect. When you're doing a sentiment strip, you kind of might have to get in there a little bit more. Sometimes I reach for my little like pokey tool to get like little grains out if it's a sentiment, but because we're doing Emboss Resist, it's a little more forgiving, but we did a pretty good job. I don't know if you can tell on camera. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. And then also we have the mantra of sometimes we have to leave good enough alone, because if you pull at that thread a little too much, I've crossed the line when I've tried to do that, and ask me how I know. So sometimes you just got to look at it. It looks good enough. That's perfect, because if I go in it too much, that's when sometimes things happen. So I'm just going to turn my embossing gun on, so don't mind the noise. And it's just going to magically melt the embossing powder. Just like that. This never gets old. We're almost done. Just gonna flip it around and down here. And then when you're embossing, you can kind of put it on a little bit of an angle just so that it catches the light in a different way, so you can see if you missed any spots. But I think, oh, we missed over here. And we're good. Glenda says, just completed a thank you card using the resist. Isn't it so much fun? Love it. Oh, and Jeanette, you mentioned earlier doing a high school grad album for yours. I need to like get into that, I think. I have, I don't do a whole lot of scrapbooking stuff, but I think like a little like album or something would be so good just because you can add pictures. So we have our emboss resist there. You can't really tell on camera, but it is there. There's a nice little ridge. And now we can get blending. So I'm gonna grab some copy paper again. And I think I'm gonna grab a little piece of paper towel to kind of just protect my fingers a little bit. Sure. Oh, Allison says Catherine Pooler released stuff. Oh, there's new stuff. Awesome. Okay, we didn't miss anything else. I always like to check back just in case I missed anything. So I'm going to start with some chipped sapphire here. And I'm going to grab my little Tailored Expressions brush, and I'm just going to kind of start off the edge. Yes. It ultimately doesn't really matter, but I was making sure that I was on the correct end. So I'm going to start by getting some ink, and then I'm going to hold down this, and I'm going to start off the paper and work my way on the paper. And I saw this blend online, and I had to give it a try because it includes the new saltwater taffy. So I had to continue to give it a warm welcome in my craft room. So I'm just kind of adding my first layer of color. And I think this is, I have mostly oxides. I have like a handful of distress inks. So, and I don't have the heart to replace it yet because it still works. So it doesn't go on as opaque as the oxides, but you can just build up your layers. That, and I think to about there is good because I want the other colors to be kind of the star of the show. And then I'm going to grab Seedless Preserves. And then I'm going to add that on here. And then you can go in between each color. So at first, if there's a harsh line, don't worry about that too much. We're gonna blend them together nicely. Just want to get the first kind of layer down. Like that looks good to me. And then I'm gonna just kind of blend them together. That, and then I can go back and forth. And then if you happen to notice you contaminate your brushes, you can just wipe them. Have some paper towel close by to kind of clean them in between. I'm not as careful as I probably should be, but that. And I'm just going to go in between the colors and blend them nicely. There we go. Oh, got my fingerprints up there. That's okay. even though I have a piece of paper towel to help me with that, but I think we'll be okay. So I'll grab some saltwater taffy, and I have a little brush for that over here, that just because it's not quite pink and it's, you know, not red, so I gave it its own brush, and then I can kind of hide our little oopsie, and like it does, you can't even tell that there was an oopsie. Just put this over here. This color just, it reminds me of like a really fun drink sitting on the beach. Or maybe that's just what I want to do and I'm just connecting. But it's so fun. So now I'm going to go in with some more seedless preserves. And just kind of blend, blend, blend. So you can kind of do this as quick and easy, or you can kind of keep building layers. It all depends on your mood and how much time you have. Get a nice little seamless blend here. Really liking these colors together. So I'm just gonna, a little bit more. There we go. So we have our little background here, and now I'm going to try this. I saw these little cotton balls, and I thought maybe that would work to kind of remove any excess ink that's on top of the embossed image, because the paper towel sometimes leaves these little ridges. So I thought, oh, I'll give this a try, and see, it does work really well. So you just kind of wipe away, and then that'll show you and kind of carried some color over by accident. So I'll just fix that with that. And there we go. So we got our background so far. Allison says, looks great so far. Lisa says, super cute. Oh, thank you. It's a tried and true technique. So we can put these away. We're all finished with them. And I'm gonna clean these brushes before I use them again. And then I'm going to resist with some water in the inks. Different kind of resist. Or not resist, but react. And I like to go a little crazy, so I'm just gonna, and then I'm gonna go in with some opaque as well, some Copic. Ooh. Just making sure I'm using the clean end of the paper towel. But when you're doing backgrounds like this, it's all good. You have a lot of room to so I'm just adding a couple of colors just because I got a little bit of dark colors up there, but it's all good. Sienna says, hi from Calgary. Love how well you blended the colors. Oh, thank you, Sienna. So we have that there, and now I'm going to grab some Copic Opaque White, which is my new BFF. Just clean this up. And then I'm gonna add a touch here. And where's my water brush? I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to make it free, and then I'm just going to hope that this works. Maybe add a little bit more water. Usually that works, that's the trick, but maybe not this time. Maybe it works better on this. Nope. There we go. There. Love it. It's like your painting is not complete without a little bit of a splatter. So got that there, and that's our little background. Can remove it from there. Oh, that was from my mom, Marie. Oh, awesome. Hello, Marie. Hello, hello. Yes, that's right. Okay, so now we're going to just take my little glitter pen here, and I'm just going to go over like the little flower area. So it's going to kind of wet the oxides, and it's like I kind of knew that when I tried it, but I actually like the effect that it gives you. So, oh, that's not dried yet. Like that. So you get that kind of extra little effect. And then I'm just going to be careful not to touch any of the Copic splatter. Ideally, I would kind of set this aside to dry and then come back to it, but and then we're just going to do it like that. And then in between colors, I'm kind of going to just clean off the tip of my glitter pen. Just because I'm kind of playing with lots of different colors. Go. I think that's a really cool little effect. Can't forget this one. Can you guys believe that I didn't even buy a lot of stuff at this show? But I mean, you guys you saw my craft room on Instagram. You know I probably don't need a lot of stuff. But my husband, I was like, do you believe that I didn't buy that much? And he's like, yeah, it looks like you were pretty busy. But I'm hoping if you guys came to say hi and you're kind of getting all your new goodies, or if you have an order out today. So the cool thing with us is we're online, so you can always order and get crafty mail anytime. And if there's ever anything that you want to see in particular, definitely reach out and let us know. Or if there's anything you're looking for that you would like to have, let us know. We try our best to kind of have a little bit of everything for everyone. And then I'm just going to finish off adding some glitter. But I think it's really cool that it gives you that nice watercolor effect with some glitter on top. So that's done there. Now we can work on our sentiment. So I'm going to pull a sentiment from the foiled sentiments from Pink Fresh. Love having this on hand because, again, when you have that card that you just need to get done really quickly, and it's gold foil. Glenda says fabulous color combo. Oh, thank you. And then I'm going to add some little foam dots here. Yes, I saw this blend. I can't remember if it was Christina Warner who made this, or if it was somebody else on the Tim Holtz design team. But I thought, ooh, that's pretty. I'm gonna have to give it a try for everyone to see. Probably don't have to put this many. I'm just gonna add a little piece over here. Oops. Oops. Just want to make sure the edges are covered. Then we're going to add a little piece over here so that if it's in the mail, it's not going to crush. Go. And then I think I'm going to just kind of place it right here. Does anybody else have that like feeling when you know for the placement, you kind of just play around with it and you just get that, oh, that's where it belongs. Try to see which one I should use for the sentiment. I think I might use this one. What do you guys think should be the official card? I've only got one of these left. So this one on the left side or this one on the right side? I know they probably look very identical to you. Let's see if you guys have a preference. If not, I will. Just taking the backings off of the sentiment. And actually, I think I'm going to go with this one because I like the sparkle. And then I can keep this one in my stash for next time. Go like that. And then add some sequins, of course. Let's see what I have here. And I've got some more picket fence ones over here too. And kind of just mix and match them. My little, I think Terry coined the party mix term. Terry is awesome. It's my little sequin party mix here. Jan says they're both pretty. Oh, thanks. It's so funny when you are a crafter and you see things through the eyes of perfection, and sometimes, you know, no one else really notices if there's any little imperfections, but I kind of like how the sparkle was coming off on this one. But this one I'm going to definitely keep in my little, I keep all my little card bases that I'm working on so I can reach for them easily. Glue. Sometimes, you know, it takes a while for cards to come together. Does anybody else, when they're creating and they just can't, maybe they just, it's not working, it's just not coming together. You kind of leave it aside, and then I just leave it aside on my desk, and then usually, you know, within a couple, you know, a day, couple weeks, then I'm working on something else, and then it's like, aha, that's perfect for this. And it's kind of very serendipitous and just meant to be sometimes. So sometimes when things aren't coming along the way I want, I just kind of set it aside and give it time to breathe. Okay, so let me grab this little sequin over here, put it there. Hopefully he wants to stay. There we go. Like that. We can pull our little party mix. Maybe they'll get picked next time. And that's our little card we did today with some Emboss Resist. So awesome, you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out and tuning in. And I'll see everybody on Sunday. And have a great rest of the week. Bye, everyone.